What's going on, everybody? It is Brendan. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're headed up to the outlet. I haven't been there in a while, and it hasn't rained in a while, so it's going to be a slick drive. But we're going to go to the outlet, see what we can find there, dig through those big blue bins, and then depending on how I do there, we'll pop into some stores. Maybe not. It all just depends. It's very thin in my area right now, so if you're watching me in your local, I think everybody's feeling the pain, so to speak. So hopefully that turns around. But we're headed up to the outlet, so let's get moving.
All right, it's time to mosey our way on into the outlet. This is Tuesday, October 7th when this was recorded, and it was a little bit of a slower day, I think, from the customer side of things. Weather may have had a little part in that, but it just everything felt a little bit slower. It looks like they were getting the rotations in and out in a relatively decent amount of time, although I was not able to stay for a shoe rotation. So a couple hours in, they didn't get the shoes out. I'm gonna look right now just to see what is left over, but all three of the shoe bins look a little thin. These are very picked over. They're either very picked over or there weren't a lot to go on when they brought them out. Sometimes when you go, it's just mountains of clothes, it's mountains of shoes. And then other times it looks real thin, or you get, huge bins where it's just linens, which are also great to sell, but for people that are primarily looking for clothing, that can be kind of a bummer. The first thing that I'm going to grab, moving over into the clothes, is this Adidas hoodie. It's called an Adicolor Spinner logo hoodie. There was a seller I went into Terapeak that had sold 214 units of this exact hoodie back, I think it was 2022 or 2023. So it's an older style, and I really can't tell you if the spinner keyword helps me in this instance. I don't know if there's going to be people out there that are looking for this specific hoodie that ask for the spinner logo. I'm hoping that's the case, so it's definitely a keyword that I'm going to use. But it's a size 2X. It was I know you can't tell maybe from my iPhone, but it looked like it was in like new condition. So hopefully I have the 2X, the condition. Hopefully I have those things going for me. But it's a toss-up to determine when that item will actually sell. It's hard to determine the demand because there's just not a lot of them right now. I did see a new with tags one sold in the last 90 days for $45, but you never know. I mean, I feel like sometimes we're really just guessing. It's just our best guess when we're selling pre-owned anything. So we'll grab that. I think I'll price it at around $25, $30. This was a cool USA like jersey shirt, but it was a youth size, and I try to stay away from most youth items where I can. And I don't suspect that was something that a lot of people were looking for. This was fun. This person survived Hurricane Florence. They made actual shirts for this hurricane, 2018. I survived, I think it was Ivan, and there was one more that came through when I lived in South Florida. Ivan, and I'm forgetting the other one now, but yeah, those were crazy times. Without power for a long time. These thermal underwear would have been great. They have a little bit of a stain on them though. Believe it or not, these sell pretty well. So if we're talking thermal long johns, you clearly cannot sell pre-owned underwear on eBay. And I'm not even going to try to touch what this OF means. I have no idea. I don't know what brand this is or what it stands for. So we'll leave that one behind. But yeah, those hurricanes were pretty intense back there. Living in South Florida was great during the time that I lived down there, though. We had a lot of fun. All right, what else do we have? This looks like a muscle car shirt, Pure American Muscle Car. I think that's one of those screen print graphic type things, printed on a Delta tag hoodie. Probably not authentic if it had like a Roadrunner graphic on there, which I thought I saw. Maybe it was, but I doubt it. J. Crew polo, can't use that. All right, I'm going to move over to bags. They did bring bags out, and I'm glad they did. This is a Lilly Pulitzer. It's got like a bamboo handle, and this bag, believe it or not, just recently sold, I think, for $50, and there's some pretty good comparables, $50s, $60. I'll list mine for $50. It's brand new in the bag. I mean, how often does that happen? I mean, that's a great score. So that'll be a big hit and easy to ship, very light. I can ship it for around $5. This will fish for food Thought that hat might be vintage. It was on a KC hats tag, but there's a lot of them listed, and for a very low price. So I just ended up leaving that behind, and I couldn't identify that purse if there was a brand on that. Same with this one too. Like, we've got some pebbled leather. It's in good condition, but I can't find a brand anywhere on this bag. So I'm gonna leave that one behind as well. The Hollister bag, this Hollister canvas bag, I totally forgot to look it up. There were a couple here, right? Like, you can see the Peacock JanSport backpack. It was in really good condition. There's another one on top of it. It's got like a geometric pattern on top. Both those JanSport bags were in good shape, and they were light, but I left them behind. I got distracted with something. That Hollister canvas bag, can't really tell you if those are hot or not. It's probably, one of those things you want to look on a case-by-case basis. But I did grab a Mitchell and Ness duffel that you didn't see on camera. There were no comps on it, but so I did at least get one canvas bag. I just didn't grab the Hollister one. What else are we looking at? Look, a fisherman's hat here, but I didn't recognize the brand, so we'll pass on that. Tilly, if it's Tilly, I definitely grab those hats. Those ones sell pretty well. Those outdoor, like Outback hats. This is a staple. Carhartt, I'll throw it in the wash, get it cleaned up. Nice blue color. We're talking maybe $15. These sell, they sell consistently, but they sell slow. It's not like the Carhartt jackets by any means, which still seem to be selling like at a phenomenally high price and rate. So, but that blue one, that'll, like I said, $15. We'll move that. Pretty light, won't cost me a ton. Pimco canvas bag there. What else is this? Gecko Brands. I think this was an Ollie's item at some point, so I can't use that. Nothing in the Guess sunglasses case. That is a cool Columbus Clippers hat, but it was a youth hat. I did like the graphic. I like the way the brim felt, and having that double graphic on the brim was cool too. But again, trying to stay away from as much youth as I can. What else do we have? This Coach bag was in pretty rough condition. I feel like that's how a lot of the bags were when I came out. It was like almost everyone I had some type of leather coming off of it, or whether it was just really, they were either poorly kept or they've been holding them for a long time, or we just had bad luck because there was just a lot of them that really couldn't be used. There were probably 2-3 separate Coach bags that were all in that condition that I did not get on camera, and some other decent brands that were in poor condition as well. I'm going to take the Eddie Bauer wool. This is a really pretty, very festive, very timely scarf. And, got the fall colors. It looks like leaves a little bit. And so I think I will sell that quickly. It's going to cost next to nothing because it doesn't hardly weigh anything. But it's really pretty. And, Eddie Bauer wool scarves, are they a bolo? Should you look at them? Maybe. It just depends. I'll put it up for like $20 and we'll see what happens. And I don't know what it is right now with Melanie Martinez, but this is a Melanie Martinez Portals shirt. Melanie Martinez is actually the first concert that my oldest daughter ever went to. I took her to that for one of her birthdays. But her shirts are selling really slow right now. And I'm not sure why that is, because there was a time where her stuff sold really quick. I mean, I know she's not on tour anymore. She hasn't put new music out in a while. And the prices are a little bit on the low side too for her. So for example, for the shirt that I just picked up, I didn't really see any comparables in the last 90 days. It's a $20 shirt. So you just, buyer beware, seller beware on that. Her stuff just sells really slow right now. And I try to pay attention to her because, we listen to her a fair amount. That was a cashmere LL Bean small sweater, very light. It felt very soft, but it did have a stain that I identified after the fact, so I couldn't use that, which was super annoying. And I know there's some of you out there too, where you get into the groove, you get things home, and you notice them after the fact that there was something hidden that you didn't see there. Luckily for me, I stayed disciplined this time because I had a little bit extra time. I wasn't rushed to get out of here today to go do kid stuff or whatever it is. So I checked and I double checked and made sure that I wasn't going to miss anything, and I caught it. I caught the stain. So we're going to leave that behind. I mean, it may have come out. It just looked like something that I wasn't going to be able to do or do quickly. So we left it. Oh, what else are we looking at? Arc & Co. I don't know if that's a Bolo brand or not. I have a tendency to pass over stuff that I maybe shouldn't. I should be looking up. I did look up the LifeWit. This is like a canvas leather backpack. It's really pretty sleek looking. Lots listed, not a lot sold. Lots in the $20 range. A few I saw were listed for $15. I think that's one of those Amazon Chinese brands, but in nice condition. Seemed like a decent bag. It's just too bad that it really doesn't have any resale value. I'm not going to hold on to it. It's a little bit too heavy for me. $2.29 a pound at my bins for clothing. Hasn't changed, I think, all year. And then $1.99 for hard goods. I did grab a hard good or two that you might see here in a little bit. So I did go over to that section. All right, let's take a look at this now. So I'm sourcing in Columbus, Ohio. I'm from Cleveland. This is a Cleveland Browns. I don't know if it's vintage or not. Hard hat, they do sell. I feel like I've sold a few of these in the past. Maybe not this exact one. I've got some stickers that I need to pull off because we have Columbus Blue Jackets hockey stickers on there. So I've got some work ahead of me to get that off. But it'll sell for like $20. The Browns today, I just learned, traded Joe Flacco, who was their starter and was reduced to a backup role, to the Cincinnati Bengals for a 5th round pick, if I read correctly. So it's depressing being a Cleveland Browns fan. I know I've talked about it ad nauseum on this channel, but Flacco was a likable guy. Is he producing? Like, he was probably having a bad year, but the Browns are bad. They're not a good football team. Like, they have bouts of excellence, but it's few and far between. So, and I know the Ravens are struggling this year too. I don't know if their quarterback is hurt or not, but Flacco is now a Cincinnati Bengals. So if you learned it here first, congrats Cincinnati. You've got somebody to pick up the slack while Burrow is gone, and I'm going to keep digging in misery to see if I can find anything in the hard goods section to flip on eBay. A phone, a water bottle, a Sonic lunchbox. I don't have any idea what that is. But yeah, so now Dylan Gabriel is the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Let's grab my bucket and head over to the plush. This is Barley Brinley Bear. Not really worth anything. I mean, if you wanted to price it at like $15 or $20, you could, and it might sell at that price, but you'd have to probably sit and wait because there are some that sell in like the $10 range or less. And there's a good number of them listed. This is from the game Piggy. It's like maybe $8, $9. I'd seen some solds. There was a Minecraft plush there that was in pretty rough shape. Animal Alley. I don't know if there are some Animal Alley bolos to look out for if we're talking plush. So if you know of some, feel free to mention them in the comments, because it's not a brand I think I've ever sold, but I definitely need to learn and continue to grow. So if you know something, let me know. This is, I forget how you pronounce this one. Sumiko Gurashi. There are a ton of these listed. That one would need to be cleaned up a little bit. It did have the tag with it, but again, no value there. Didn't see a tag on the little ghost. He was cool looking though. I have no idea what that is. That's scary. And then this guy with the tear in between his eyes. So nothing else doing here. I'll take my hard hat and I'm going to be on my way. Again, slow day here in the bins, just not much movement. I mean, you can see the bins look like they are pretty empty, and that's how a lot of them started out. So not a ton to pick through. It was like when the new rotations came out, we were all going through them really quickly. There was hardly a reason to go back in them after the fact, because they just weren't full. They weren't as full as they normally are. So just a slow day at the bins. I do have one interesting item that I do want to show you. It's a brand that I couldn't find on eBay that I had to look up because it was very, very odd, very strange. They have a very strange tagline. You'll see it here in a minute. Nothing doing over here. It's an interesting, like full-length dress, sweater. Nothing really doing there. But I want to show you this bag. This bag is called the Gatherer 2. Now, this couple, and I had to look this up because it's such a strange name, like Wazuaz. And when I was touching the bag, I was like, what is this? What's going on here? So it's a linen vegan waxed, just like hunting bag or foraging bag, if you will. They have it listed on their website for $245. It's just a couple, like this very eclectic, very cool, like positive vibes, very like almost whimsical, different couple out of Indiana that just hand make all these things. So I thought this was really interesting because, and you can see like the wax bleeding in, but on the interior linen, none whatsoever. But it was just a cool looking piece that was very strange. And I'm glad I looked it up because that could have been another one of those like cheapo Amazon brands. But there's none on eBay. As far as what I'm going to list it at, I don't know, maybe $120. Like, they have theirs listed at $245. I could go higher. I don't really know, but just a really interesting, and they've got way more than that in their store. So I thought that was an interesting find, and that was it for the bins. So I moved over to the retail stores, and I really couldn't find much. I do definitely need to replenish my Brooks because they sell so fast. That was a size 8 and a wide, so I'm just going to toss them in the wash and get them cleaned up. And then these Doc Martens, I was like, is there something wrong with them? Because they were just kind of sitting out in the open too, which happens often a lot in my area with Doc Martens, and they just sell slow anyway for me. But these are Blair sandals in white, obviously woman's size 7 US. As for pricing, I'm gonna say depending on how those Brooks come out, probably $35 for the Brooks. They're good sellers, and then I'll be really aggressive and price the Doc Martens low. So like we're talking probably $25 on those, potentially $30, but I'll take both of those pairs. It is very, very thin in all of the stores that I source at right now. I have theories as to why that might be, but I'm not going to get into them on camera. I see changes being made in the background at a lot of the places that I thrift that are not customer friendly, but we're gonna leave it at that for now and just see how everything plays out. I like the 2 pairs of shoes. What can I tell you? Those will work. And there was one more. This is a pair of Ultras. They had too much tread, and then there's a pair of New Balance here that are really clean, and it's so lazy not to pick them up just because they don't have laces, but I'm leaving them. I need something that is ready to sell. I don't want to wait another couple days, and I do not have New Balance laces on hand like I have Nike laces, so I'm going to leave those behind. They were super clean though. I am going to grab this Yankee Candle. Is Hollyberry is the scent. The thing about this one is all the comps that I look at, the label is a little bit different. This looks like an updated version of the label. I don't know if that matters for Yankee Candle. Like, it's still a good seller. Like the Hollyberry one, I think is definitely a bolo, but am I gonna have to price it lower because the label's a little bit different than all the ones that I saw listed in the solds? I don't really know. I'm still gonna grab it because we have holiday coming up. It's a holiday scent. I am going to take that with me, and at $5, let's say $30, just because I don't really know any better. I haven't really gone into my desktop to check the rest of the solds that I saw on my phone when I was looking initially in store, but that bag is a real stretch from the bins. Maybe $125 is kind of where I feel like I'm going to land for now, but pretty pleased with that pickup. And the Lily that'll sell for $50, brand new. So it really wasn't too bad of a trip, considering the bins weren't as full as they normally are, and I couldn't touch any shoes. So I'm gonna take one last look at the trinkets on the shelf to see if maybe I missed something. Is there something that I need to go run back and get at the last second? There's a Jesus fish cross down below, a shell of some sort. And we'll go over to the other side. This is cute, this little Spoontiques camper. Was there a price on this? I think it's on the other side. $5. I don't know, I didn't look that up. There's some art here. Nice looking piece with the barn and some snow. Yeah, I don't see anything else. All right, y'all, time to get all this stuff processed. We got to get it cleaned, we got to get it drafted, got photographs, and then we got to get them listed. So thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you. We'll see you in the next one.